So my name is Linda Guerrero. My husband and Tom have been attending the warehouse pretty consistently for about 2.5 years, but had been off and on before. We started coming because my son Chris has been here for, goodness, about 5 years. He started here when he was in college, and we ended up following him here. About 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I had been symptomatic for 5 years, had had multiple throat biopsies, tubes in my ears. I started losing my hearing in my 20s, and they couldn't find a cause. And so that was the first symptom. And then there were a lot of other things that started happening health-wise, but nothing was definitive. Until I hit a point where my face started changing shape. And that's when I knew I had something serious on. And even though I had been referred off to multiple doctors who had found nothing wrong, I knew that something had to be done. So I was back to my family doctor and, hey, look at me, my face is changing shape. And he's like, you know what, you're right. So he sent me to a friend of his who is actually a head and neck surgeon, a pediatric head and neck surgeon. And that doctor, having benefited all of my symptoms, everything I'd been dealing with for 5 years, pinpointed rather quickly what was going on. He had seen this type of tumor once before. It's really rare. And it was growing on the nerves that work the bottom half of your face, both sides of the skull base, and growing more into the brain cavity. So fortunately, it was a benign tumor, but it was large and in a very bad spot because it had been growing for quite a while. So finding that out set off a whirlwind of activity and tests and MRIs and CT scans, and getting ready to undergo a really huge surgery. Surgery was almost 11 years ago, 10 point something years ago, and it was 15 and a half hours of surgery, 2 surgical teams. I was at that point sick enough that I was being seen by the chairs of neurosurgery and head and neck surgery for a major teaching hospital, one of the largest hospitals in the country. They have you sign the papers to have a big surgery like that. They have you sign for a lot of scary stuff. But I knew it was going to be okay. There was just a sense that God had it, whatever was going on, and there was something to be learned from it. And so that was the stance that Tom and I took, and we talked the kids through, was just taking it as it came and learning every bit that we could from it. So in the course of the surgery, both the temporalis and masseter muscles had to be cut and then put back together. So that left me with a lot of muscle weakness on the right side of my face, palsy on the right side of my face. So I was in speech therapy for about 5 months. I had to relearn how to eat, chew, swallow, talk without being able to feel the right side of my face. Because the tumor was on a nerve, I lost sensation to the right side of my face. A lot of that has come back, and so now I constantly feel like Novocaine wearing off. It's that post-dental work feeling, which is interesting. There's been a lot of people that I've talked to over the years, because it has been a while, that they're facing something scary, and they're looking at the other side of something really big and scary and realizing that, oh, I can get through this. So in every experience, good or bad, there's something to be learned. God's always teaching us. And we approached it really with what can we learn from this? What's the takeaway? What is God trying to show us in this? And so, trying to take that approach to life's challenges is, okay, open myself up, and what is God trying to show me